Hello, hello, Rise and Thrivers. Welcome to another episode of Rise and Thrive Together. My name is Dr. Raquel Stuart. Co-host Regina is not with us tonight. She is taking care of some family stuff, and so we will miss you. Okay, let me tell you, for the first time listeners and viewers, here at Rise and Thrive, we are a vibrant community committed to educating, empowering, and equipping you to get the results you want through real talk, real actions, real results. That's what we are all about here. I am so excited to tell you, drum roll, that tomorrow we will be doing our drawing for the sponsorship, the giveaway that we've been talking about for the entire month of March. The day will be here tomorrow. We are going to pick 3 winners. Okay, so we're going to do it live and on air. Once again, we definitely want to thank our sponsors, Mary Kay, Ultimate Wireless, and the Eisenberg Leadership Academy. Right there on the screen are the gifts that you will receive. 3 winners, and we're going to do it live on air, and I'm super stoked. And you will receive it by mail. Each organization is going to mail the package, the gift, to the winners. Okay, you only get one gift. You can only get one gift. Did I say that? So tonight is your last night to make substantial comments, okay, saying, hey, hi, awesome, great. Not enough. It's got to be substantive. We want our guests to have some comments, great questions to keep the conversation going. All right, so that's how you get entered into this. Substantial comments during the live show, not after. All right, good. Super excited to have our guest. Let's jump on into this. Evesham Councilwoman Heather Cooper made history when she became the first ever woman of color elected to the council in 2019 and served as deputy mayor for 4 years. She also serves on many Burlington County civic boards and is an active part of her church and school community. She has over 30 years of experience working on policies and practices on behalf of underserved and underrepresented groups. She takes a family and community first approach in all of her work. She has dedicated her career to helping people connect to the resources and services they need to empower and support themselves, and has invested many hours in youth leadership and development. Heather is currently a human resource administrator. I love this. And her favorite title out of everything is mom. She has earned her master's degree in public administration at Rutgers University through the Center for Executive Leadership in Government, and she holds a certification through the Society Human Resources Management. She is also a proud member of the Pi Alpha Alpha National Honor Society for Public Affairs and Administration. Woohoo! I love it. I'm so excited. Come on, Heather. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Rise and Thrive
Hi.
Together. So excited to have you here. So excited. I love the fact that you say your best title is mom.
Thank you. Thank you
Oh
so
my
much for
gosh.
having me.
We're so
Yes.
excited to have you here.
Mhm. Yes, I am the proud mom. I'm a boy mom. That's what I tell my friends often. Two teenagers, 17 and 13, who teach me about life every single day, every day.
Wow. So
Yes,
you've got to be
yes,
pretty hip on like the language and the lingo that they
yes,
use.
yes, yes, yes. I have learned how to do the point 0.5 pictures. I know what a true selfie means, just fundamental use of your phone, and also words to not say as a mom, even though I think I'm being cool. They're like, no, mom, don't say that word. No, you can't say
Really?
that. So,
Can you share with us what's one of the words?
so here's something when they're not sure about people and they say, mom, if you're sus about someone. And so I might say to them and come up in their room because they like to spend a lot of time there as teens, sus, like, what are all these dishes? And they're like, no, mom, don't do that. And they just look at me, like, what are you like, stop, just stop. So they remind me that it's not cool to dance as an adult and think I'm a teen or to use their slang. It's their slang. We had our slang back in the day.
Right.
Not the same. Not the same. Yeah.
Oh my
But they're
gosh,
good.
that's so
They're
awesome.
good teens. Good teens.
That's so awesome. Now, I know before we got on air, we were talking about your day and you were running and trying to get on air with us. Busy, busy life. So you're in HR,
Yes, I
right?
am. I am. Yes. My
And
day usually starts,
councilwoman.
yes, my
Wow.
day
Go ahead.
starts
You say your
early.
day.
It
Oh,
starts early
wow.
if I want to connect with my kids and connect with myself before I have to connect with the rest of the world. I got to start that early. So I get up at 5:30, go to the gym. I get back in time before they get on the bus. And then I get to work and do my day job. Wearing many hats, you have to also manage your time pretty well,
Hmm.
and I like to make sure I have enough time in my day for them. A lot of it's quality, not quantity. I have to remind myself as a mom. And then I get to do, the politics of local government requires you to be in the community from my expectation of what I feel it should be. I spend a lot of time in my community, and the boys come with me. So and my husband I drag him along too. So any kind of day can consist of 5:30 start time, and maybe by 9 I can wind my day down.
Wow. See, we can do it all, ladies. Let me just let y'all
That's
know.
right. That's right.
But it's
That's
about
right.
time management, right? If you have
Yes,
20,000 things, we've got to prioritize what needs to be done because everything
that's
on
right.
that list doesn't need to be done. Okay.
That's right.
So
That's right.
you made history as the first woman of color to be elected to this office of councilwoman in Evesham. And for those of you that don't know, because some of our listeners are all over, that is in New Jersey. Okay, it's in
Mhm.
South Jersey.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
So I wanted to run for local office because I got involved in my homeowners association. And if anyone knows what a homeowners association is like, so a group of typically moms that are like, we don't like the way the grass looks, the park looks, we want to change it. What's happening? And we made some positive impacts. And from there, they were like, you should run for local town council. And Evesham is the largest town in Burlington County of almost 50,000 residents. And so to me, I thought, it's just like advocacy. So how hard can it be? That was my thought. So meeting people, reaching people, something that comes natural for me because I've been an advocate for people, as you've read, my whole career. So I wanted to just connect more. Like I love to talk to people in the grocery store, at the PTO meetings, on the park field, like wherever that was. So it was just doing more of that. But I will say, one of the most like strongest memories for me was that knocking on doors and wondering in a town that perhaps is predominantly white culture, would I see people like me? Because I didn't see that in the schools with my kids or in the playgrounds or the community. And I thought, would people accept me? Would they be okay? Now, I knew I was qualified. I knew I was
Hmm.
educated. I did my homework. I did my research. I'm a community person. I come from a large family. I felt like I checked all those boxes, but there was this expectation inside that, well, I am a woman, the labels I wear, and I'm a biracial woman. And so would they receive me differently? And they didn't. People did not. The issue that people tended to have was that I looked too young, which was, a compliment, really. And more so that I was a woman. And that really surprised me that I wasn't qualified because I was a woman. I must not be educated. I must not know what I'm doing.
Wow.
So I had to work twice as hard. We just outworked them. I ran with two other women, and we won against men who were running for office. And it was a proud moment. It was a proud moment of change. It really was.
That's awesome. Now I see that your platform is on youth empowerment, youth leadership and development. What got you to be so passionate about this?
So before I even had my own children, I have four sisters and they all had kids before me. And so working with my nieces and nephews, mostly nieces, believe it or not. Most of my sisters have girls, I have boys,
Was this a plan?
it was, it was prayer. I prayed because I wanted boys. I was like, I wanted boys. I just felt I would be a good boy mom, and I think I do okay. Um, so I've always kind of surrounded myself around this encouragement kind of aura that you can be anything you want to be. You can lead,
Mhm,
you can be an astronaut, you can be an educator, whatever those things are. And that came kind of through my family and my nieces. And one by one, I watched them grow and become moms themselves and kind of do that. And when I came into office, I heard there was this youth advisory committee. And I was like, what is this? And I showed up at meetings and I started to build relationships with the youth, and it went from about 5 or 10 kids within 2 or 3 years, especially in the pandemic, believe it or not, where we're mostly Zoom, turned
mhm.
into this large group of 30 to 40 kids just bringing their ideas, bringing their voices. And I just felt it was my responsibility to usher that along and to help them have their voice heard. And so that came natural for me because they showed up, and one by one they would say, Miss Cooper, what about this? Can we do that? This is important. And when I would ask them what did they want to do, they mostly would say they just want their voices heard. Powerful,
Mm,
powerful.
wow. So what are
Yeah.
some of the things, if you can share, that they want to be heard about? What do they bring to the
So
table?
I love that you're asking because it was so organic in the way that it came about. It's mostly females that are part of this group. We love the guys; they're our allies, and they have siblings and mothers and grandparents. So, um, what started to come out of the pandemic, as we know, in the teen population was mental health issues. And
Mhm,
so, what we did on our township website as local government was create a list of resources of mental health support needs for youth. They one by one started to send me, people should be thinking about this, and there's an app for that, and this is what I did to help support my friends. And it just started to really snowball and grow in a positive way. And then they wanted to start to do outreach. So they asked if counselors could come and speak to them. They wanted to host a wellness fair. So we put together a wellness fair where they had all these holistic avenues of how to address mental health as youth. And just month after month, year after year, they were saying, what about this? Can we do that? And it was growing so quickly. I was like trying to gather all of their ideas and lift them up. I'm like, hold on. So, what we did last year and then again this year was create a calendar of events. And so, each of those things, for example, in the month of March, we just did a collection for menstrual products for those who experience period poverty. This is youth
wow.
led. A young lady that I know, she created a nonprofit called Tampon Express. She collects these items and we give them to food pantries because people don't realize with food insecurity, there's also period poverty, hygiene product poverty that people need access to. So she was my motivation. I was like, we should do this for Women's Month. Like, why aren't we? And the need was so great. Our local pantries are so grateful. They're sending email after email saying, we've never had this to offer to our members. Thank you so much.
Mm,
So such a powerful, see, feels like a small thing, had such a very a large ripple effect in the community.
wow. Now, my question is, how did the guys feel having to give out
Look,
to
they
support
understand.
with the
I watch
period?
their faces. You're like, but look, they received it well. And these are teenage boys. We explained to them, look, there's fathers with daughters. You have
Mhm.
sister. Yeah, I know my sister. She's, and she needs something, kind of thing. And we tell the stories of, what it's like for my dad who had 5 daughters to have to run down to the
Mm,
7-Eleven and get it. And it's a very natural thing. You will marry someone perhaps one day that will have this support need. It's the most natural thing. And most of the teen boys know, they know what a period is, but they're not uncomfortable as I thought they would be. They're very supportive.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so awesome.
Uh-huh.
So now, what are you doing for the month of April? What's on
Oh
hand
boy.
there?
So we are doing Earth Day. So the kids are addressing environmental justice issues. They're addressing issues with our water. It is also Autism Awareness Month,
Mhm.
so we're hosting what's called a color run, and the kids are they're volunteer driven. So 15 to 20 kids will sign up for an event, and I always tell them, you want to do an event. What is the who, what, when, where, and why? What will it take to create that? So there's a level of entrepreneurship and management, self management for them. If they want to do a thing, I said, that's great. Who's going to do it? Because I can't do it all. And they know it takes
Right.
a collaborative effort, and they figure it out. It's so impressive. I'm telling, they just energize me so much that I'm like, okay, what can we do next? Like I'll stay up late at night just to make sure these things happen, because it's a value system where they feel a part of a community, they feel heard, but then
Mhm.
they're also giving back, and that shows leadership.
Wow. I love what you just said. You said it's a value community. They're learning how to be leaders. They're not learning, and they're learning entrepreneurship, of course. And those are some things that years ago we were not teaching our children.
That's right.
Why is it so
I know.
important now to teach our children and instill this leadership in them?
I really think what I hear from them, as well as my own boys, is that they have these thoughts and ideas already. The world is at such a fast pace today that they're seeing it all unfold, and they're hungry and they're interested. They're not complacent. I think there was a generation somewhere along the way that were a little complacent, and
Mhm.
didn't have quite the motivation. So where we thought maybe those kids that experienced the COVID pandemic isolation are now kind of coming out energized and hungry for life. So we're trying to harness that and cultivate it, and teaching things like financial literacy, helping them
Hmm.
understand when they say they have an idea how to carry it out, and also to take care of their future, because I believe this generation is really going to be the caregivers of like our generation. And I think they know that. I think they're very aware and in tune with what's happening in the world.
So you and I interact with kids. I do it through AXO, and that's actually how I met Heather. We were both at a NAACP general members meeting, and she came over at to our table and just started engaging in conversation. I was like, wow, this lady is on fire, and
Thank you.
I just need to be in her sphere, wherever that is and whatever it is. And so you are absolutely incredible. I was
Thank
so
you.
taken with you. And I love the fact that we
Mhm.
are collaborating on some things. And we both realize in my role as a member of the AXO, and AXO is a high school program through the NAACP that helps children to compete in different areas. They do have competitions. Next month is the state competition in Jersey, and then in July, they're having their national competition. If they win a medal at state, they move on to national when the NAACP has their convention, and it's going to be in Vegas. And what I've noticed in working with youth, because I'm more of a let's work with the older adolescents, because I've taught in higher education for about 19 years. And so I deal with college kids. But now working with youth, what I realize is exactly what you said. They want to be heard. They have something to say. And when you give them that opportunity, believe me, they will blow your mind with the
Yes.
ideas that they have. And not just ideas. I found that they have the idea, and that's great, but they also have a plan. And what they need is for us adults to help them execute that. What are your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. That's that fundamental who, what, when, why, how. Like it's very fundamental in the way that you plan anything, but they've never had to plan an event. They've never even know necessarily, if I say I want to volunteer, what does that look like? So someone at the
Mhm.
age of 9 is hungry for volunteering. I want to give back. How do I start? So we walk through those experiences, and then if they get stuck, what's really cool is we have kids or I say youth from sixth grade all the way up till 12th. So like the
Mhm.
12th and 11th graders are helping the younger kids understand. They're watching them,
Wow.
they're partnering. We form these little subcommittees and have Zoom meetings of like, okay, so here's all the elements of an event. Who does someone want to be the communications person? And then you coach them and give them feedback based on what they deliver. But these kids are making PowerPoints, they're making apps for things I couldn't even fathom. Like they're teaching me. And then I think even if they get discouraged, they know that there's other opportunities. So they're even exploring where their niches. What is my strength?
Mm.
I'm not good at this. I thought I was good. I'm not going to do that next time. And then they also get a taste of like public speaking and having to use their voice into the public. And that strengthens who they're going to be into the future. It's just all
Mhm.
preparation, and it makes our town a more collaborative community-based town because they see the youth are the ones kind of leading the way. And so who's going to
Mhm.
argue that it's wrong or it's not right? Because it's youth led. I always tell people when they come to an event, I said, just so you know, this is youth led, youth designed. It's the way the kids wanted it to be. Sometimes our politicians like to show up to speak, and I'll say, sorry, youth led, I'm not even talking, I'm in the background.
Wow.
So being
Wow.
humble with not making it about me as the politician, and really being a facilitator of where they're trying to get to.
Wow. Now, I get that you're the councilwoman. How do the other members of the council feel about this program? And I'm hoping that they're supportive of it because I hear you saying, you're involved, you're involved. And I'm like, well, where are the other council members? And you don't have to
So
call them
there,
out. I'll do that.
so we have, there's the mayor, and then there's myself and three other council people. So there's five of us on there, and we're liaisons to different boards and committees and initiatives in the town. So they will come and support a youth-led event. They will show up. The mayor certainly always tells them, she spends a lot of time in the schools, and she'll say, anyone can be a leader. She reinforces the youth committee. She reinforces their leadership when she sees them in other settings, and that is a very powerful. So, Mayor Jackie Veazey, a shout out to you. She is
Woo-hoo!
definitely a supporter of future leaders. All of my council colleagues, they will come out and support the event. So we'll even give them other volunteer opportunities. Like we run an amazing farmers market. The kids go and they greet everyone who comes in. So I would say it's a collaborative effort. I get the humble pleasure of serving as the liaison for year 6. This is year 6.
Wow. So now
Yeah.
tell us about how long, let me switch gears for a second. As a councilwoman or council person, let me say you're a councilwoman, but how long do you have that office? Do you hold the office?
Every 4 years. So in our form of government, it's a 4-year term. And the
Mhm.
mayor is an elected mayor. Sometimes, like some towns, you rotate through the mayor. And so we have local government week where we share our form of government and how civics work with the youth in the month of April as well. So they actually get to come and sit at the dais in a council meeting where we're making decisions right beside each of us. And that's a really cool time because I think they really feel that pressure a little bit, some healthy pressure of what it's like to sit before the public in this very formal way and make decisions. And so we do that once a year. So this will be the 5th year that we get to do local government week with our youth.
That's so awesome. Do they have to dress up or can they come in regular gear? Because
Uh,
I know,
we tell them to dress, like dress the part,
right.
dress to impress. Like, how do you want to be perceived in the public? So I tell them that's exactly what I tell them. Dress to impress. How do you want to be seen for perhaps the first time, like an interview? So they come, with their fine gear on. They look nice and presentable. I
Right.
don't give them too much pressure about it because I know teens have to look a certain way these days. If I try to dress that way again, they'll say, no, mom. Or even the girls, I want to talk about these female teens for a while.
Mhm.
My boys, they have some female friends, and they really, I think, have adopted me as their mom. And my boys get mad. They're like, mom, are you talking to my friends? So they now will kind of come to me and say, I'm thinking about this, or, issues with just interacting with their peer groups or even boys. Sometimes it comes up. But mostly what they talk about, I met one of my son's amazing dynamic. Her name is Carrie, friends, and she's in 11th grade, and she's like, I want to be president someday. She's like, I feel
Wow.
it that I'm capable. And I was like, okay, what are the steps to get there? And so that is what we talk about. And as women are feeling like, I don't think I'd ever make it because I'm a woman, because I'm a female.
Mm.
No, let's talk about that. Talk about what it will take instead of seeing the door closed. How do you, what are the steps to get there? To, do you need to jump through a window? Do you need to, kind of open up the ceiling? What do we have to do? So those are interesting conversations, and that takes relationship development. And I think the other kids even see that relationship development happening, and they desire it. Miss Cooper, I have a thing. Can we talk? And that has just created this dynamic um, dance, if you will, because it also does include their parents. And that's something I wanted to mention. The youth
Mhm.
committee does not run without the parents. They are so invaluable, the relationship building with them, because they are proud moms and dads of their youth when they see them do a thing, right? But also they give that supplemental support, so I don't feel like I'm leading it by
Right.
myself. So family members, siblings, everyone's involved, and that is really what community is when it comes to our youth leadership.
See, so what I'm hearing is community building and doing it together. There are people who say, I can do this, and they want to do everything alone. And I'm like, good luck. Good luck trying to do it
Yeah.
alone. You need people, you
Mhm.
need a community because there are going to be
Yeah,
times when it gets tough and you need somebody that can support you. And I
that's
think
right.
the work you're doing is so incredible, building up our youth because every generation is like, the children are our future. And that's great. It's not enough to say it. There
That's
has
right.
to be action behind it.
Mhm.
And you
Yes,
really and
yes.
truly have to support and uplift them and let their voices be heard. Give them an opportunity to
That's right.
speak, to tell
Yes,
you what
yes.
they're thinking and what they're feeling without the judgment. Believe it or
Mhm.
not, they get judged by their own peers, right?
Right,
What they
right.
want need
Yes.
from us is
Mhm.
support.
That's
Now,
right.
Heather, for those of our listeners that may be in the New Jersey area, and even if they're not, and they hear this, you hear what you're saying and what you're involved in the student led initiatives and everything that they're doing, how can they support?
Hmm. Well, if you have ideas, you can email me because we're always full of ideas. You can support, if you're not in Evesham Township, your own community. And maybe you're a senior that's retired that has some experience. Connect in with the youth. Find out what your local government is doing. I encourage people to get involved in local government all of the time, and also multi-generational connections. We have a strong senior community, a strong youth committee community. Find ways to connect multi-generations, so we can learn from each other, because that is the way a
Mm,
community comes together. And then don't be afraid to interact with people who have differences than what you might have. So we are a very diverse town in Evesham, and diversity is our strength. It's what makes us stronger. So embracing the differences in your own community and not being afraid to reach out, just to come up with an idea, and not being afraid to reach out to your local government. I think we're accessible. That's what we are here for, what we signed up for.
wow. I think it's incredible that you said embrace our differences because for the month of April, as you said, it is Autism Awareness Month, and that's going to be our topic here at Rise and Thrive Together for the entire month. Embracing our differences, appreciating and valuing, and looking to learn about our differences instead of this judgment that we all seem to have. You are doing such incredible work. I am so excited to be locking arms with you and building and creating, not saying, I'm not going to say trying, but we are going to build and create something sustainable for our
Mhm.
youth and let them carry it through because it's so important. Just remember, think about this. We all didn't come out the size that we are, right? Otherwise, that would have been an issue for our moms. We'd have tore her open. Um, but we were kids once too. We were youth. We were young. We're still young. They're younger. And we wanted to be heard. Exactly. We wanted to be heard. We wanted to have a voice. We had ideas, we had thoughts and feelings that we wanted to share in a
Mhm.
judgment-free zone. And we want support to do that. So
Right.
just think back to when you were young and how you wanted those things. The youth of today are no different. They
That's right.
need, they need, they need our support. So
That's
if
right.
you were not involved in your local um, political councils members and you don't go to meetings, just attend one,
Mhm.
see what it's like, see how you
That's
can
right.
get involved. From last
Right.
year I got involved with AXO. I absolutely love it. I love what I do. I love helping to raise funds. That's what I do, and that taught me something about myself. So when you
Mm.
interact with different people and youth and seniors and all that, you learn something about who you are. Heather, in the time that we've got left, what do you want to leave our listening audience with?
I feel like you said it all. You said it all. Yeah. Get involved. Get involved, whether it's your local church, your community in some way. One small act can make a huge impact, a ripple effect through the community. And talk to youth, talk to them, reach out and listen to their voices because they have a lot to say and to teach
Mhm.
us so we can keep growing as one community together.
Absolutely. Well said. And they keep us hip and learn stuff. I have a 17-year-old sister and she speaks to me in a totally different language. It's English, not my English. And I'm like, girl, what is that? And she's like, all right,
That's right.
Granny. And she tells me whatever. I'm like, what are these little acronyms that y'all have? But Heather, it
Mhm.
was such a pleasure to have you here on
Oh,
Rise and
it's so
Thrive.
good.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
doing all that
Thank
you
you.
do with our youth. Continue to do it. And as I said, I'm super excited to lock arms with you and see how we can build this
I will
out
see you
and
soon.
up.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Thank you
love
for
it. Thank
being
you.
here. To our listening audience, remember tomorrow, join us at noon. We are going to do behind the scenes with Heather, and we are going to have our drawing for the month of March and wrap up Women's History Month, but not Women's History Year. I'm creating something new. Okay. And just
Great.
remember, guys, as always, together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.
Bye.